Have you ever forgotten your phone? When did you realize you have forgotten it? I'm guessing you didn't. Just smack your forehead and exclaim, damn, apropos to nothing. The realization probably didn't dawn you out spontaneously. More likely, you reached for your phone, pulling open your pocket or handbag, and were momentarily confused by not being there. Then you did a mental recap of the morning's events. Shit. In my case, my phone's alarm woke me up as normal, but I realized the battery was lower than I expected. It was a new phone, and it had this annoying habit of leaving applications running that drained the battery overnight. So I put it on the charge for a while I showered instead of into my bag like normal. It was a momentarily slip from the routine, but it was all it took. Once in the shower, my brain got back into the routine, as it follows every morning, and that's what it was. Forgotten. This wasn't just me being clumsy. As I later researched, it was a recognition of brain function. Your brain just doesn't work on one level. It works on many, like you're walking somewhere. You just think about your destination, avoiding the hazards, but you don't need to think about keeping your legs moving properly. If you did, the entire world would turn into one massive hilarious QWOP cosplay. I wasn't thinking about regulating my breathing. I was thinking whatever I should grab a cup of coffee on the drive to work. I did. I wasn't thinking about moving my breakfast dough from my intestines. I was wondering whenever I'd finished off the time to pick up my daughter, Emily, from the nursery after work or get stuck with another for late fee. This was one thing. It's a level of your brain that just can't deal with the routine, so that the rest of the brain can think about other things. Think about it. Think about your last commute. What do you exactly remember? Probably little. If anything, most common journeys blur into one, and recalling one particular scientifically proven to be difficult. Do something often enough and it becomes a routine. Keep doing it and it stops being processed by thinking a bit of the brain that gets regulated to a part of the brain dedicated to dealing with the routine. Your brain just keeps doing it without you thinking about it. Soon you think about the routine to work as much as you do keeping your legs moving when you walk. Most people call it autopilot, but there is a danger there. If you have a break in your routine, your ability to remember and account for the break is only good as your ability to stop your brain from going to routine mode. My ability to remember my phone being on the counter was only as reliable as my ability to stop my brain entering the morning routine mode, which it would dictate about my phone is actually in the bag, but I wouldn't stop my brain entering the routine mode. I got in the shower as normal, routine started, exception forgotten. Autopilot engaged. My brain was in the back of the routine. I showered, I shaved, the radio forecast amazing weather. I gave Emily her best breakfast loaded into her car. She was so adorable in the morning. She complained about the bad sun in the morning blinding her, saying it stopped her from having a little sleep on the way to the nursery, and left. That was the routine. It didn't make a matter that my phone was on the counter, charging silently. My brain was on the routine, and the routine in my phone was in my bag. This is why I forgot my phone. Not clumsiness, not negligence, nothing more than my brain entering the routine mode and overriding exception. Autopilot engaged. I left for work and swelteringly hot day already. The bad sun had been burning since before my treacherously absent phone woke me. The steering wheel was burning hot to the touch when I sat down. I think I heard Emily shift over behind my driver's seat to get out of the glare, but I got out to work, submitted the report, and attended the morning meeting. It wasn't until a quick coffee break when I reached for my phone and its solution shattered. I did a mental restep. I remember the dying battery. I remember putting it on the charge. I remember leaving it there. My phone was on the counter. Autopilot disengaged. Again, there's lies under the danger. Until you have that moment, the moment you reach for your phone and shatter the illusion, the part of your brain is still in the routine mode. It has no reason to question the facts of the routine. That's why it's a routine, an act of repetition. It's not that, as if anyone would say, why didn't you remember your phone? Didn't occur to you? How could you forget it? You must be negligent. This is to miss the point. My brain was telling me the routine was as complete as normal, despite the fact that it wasn't. It wasn't that I forgot my phone. According to my brain, according to the routine, my phone was in the bag. Why would I think to question it? Why would I check? Why would I suddenly remember out of nowhere that my phone was on the counter? My brain wired into the routine, and the routine that my phone was in my bag. The day continued to bake. The morning haze gave away my relentless fever for heat of the afternoon. Tarmac bubbled. The directional beams of the heat threatened to crack the pavement. People swapped coffees for iced smoothies. Jackets discarded, sleeves rolled up, ties loosened, brows mopped. The parks are slowly filled with sunbathers and barbecues. Windows flames threatened to warp. The thermometer continued to swell. Thank fuck that the offices were air conditioned. But as ever, the furnaces of the day gave a cooler evening. Another day, another dollar, still cursing to myself for forgetting my phone. I drove home. The day's heat had baked into the inside of the car, releasing a horrible smell from somewhere. When I arrived at the driveway, the stones were crunching comfortably under my tires as my wife greeted me at the door. "Where's Emily?" As if the phone wasn't bad enough after everything, I left Emily at the nursery after all. I immediately sped back to the nursery. I got to the door and practicing my excuses, wondering vainly if I could charm my way out of a late fee. I saw a piece of paper stuck to the door. "Due to vandalism overnight, please use side door today only." Overnight? The door was fine this I froze. My knees shook. Vandals, a change in routine. My phone was on the counter. I hadn't been there since this morning. My phone was on the counter. I have driven past because I was drinking my coffee and I had not dropped off Emily. My phone was on the counter. She moved her seat. I hadn't seen her in the mirror. My phone was on the counter. She had fallen asleep out of the bad sun. She didn't speak when I drove past her nursery. My phone was on the counter. She changed the routine. My phone was on the counter. She had changed the routine and I had forgotten to drop her off. My phone was on the counter. 9 hours, that car in baking sun, no air, no water, no power, no help. That heat, a steering wheel too hot to touch. That smell. I walked to the car door, numb shock. I opened the door. My phone was on the counter, and my daughter was dead. Autopilot disengaged. And that, my pretties, was Autopilot, a creepypasta written by Skarjo. My final thoughts on this story? Well, it's a pretty interesting story. I mean, this is obviously, from the Reddit pastas, and I found this on the Creepypasta Wiki. It honestly was a pretty well-made story. I honestly thought that this one was a pretty interesting concept for a story. I honestly remember Mr. Creepypasta narrated it, so I thought, I'd go ahead and narrate this one. This one was a pretty interesting pasta, with the guy forgetting his phone, and then he all of a sudden forgets about what happened, that he left his daughter in the car. I mean, that's kind of messed up. But, I mean, in all due reality, the story honestly was still pretty good for what it is, although it is kind of, weird that he left on his phone on the counter, and yeah, I mean, he kind of, it seems like this person who was in the protagonist in this kind of has like an issue with forgetting things or something, which I kind of had a feeling that maybe that's what it is, but I can't really know for sure. But in all due reality, I honestly feel that that's probably the case. But anyway, with that being said and that being the case, I thought this one was a pretty good creepypasta. I mean, it's a great one, and I mean, the grammar was good and all, and the sentence structuring was amazing, and the punctuation was good. I honestly still thought this story was pretty well done. I mean, I know there's other Reddit pastas that I have seen, but I thought, you know what, I'll take a look at this Reddit pasta, and I think I did remember seeing this story a few times a few years back, but never had the time to read this story, but finally I have the opportunity to do so. And I recommend you guys check out this story. This story is on the regular Creepypasta Wiki, and I will put a link in the description for those who want to go check out this story and have a read for it for yourselves. You are more than welcome to do so. Okay. To the author of this story, awesome job with this story. You did a really great job. So to the author, Skarjo, awesome job. Really good job with this story. You should be proud of yourself for writing a really amazing creepypasta. Now, with that being said, the only thing I can really say that I didn't like, it was that the guy neglected, leaving his daughter in the car in the hot for so long. I mean, that's kind of like bad parenting. Like, that kind of leaves a bad example in bad parenting. Like, leaving your child or a pet in the car, especially on a very hot car, that is pretty much a death sentence. So, I didn't really think that was necessary, but like I said, this is an older story, so I'm willing to give it a benefit of the doubt. Now, with that being said, and that being the case, it's a pretty awesome story. I recommend you guys check this story out if you haven't. And as always, I'm going to sit here and just say right now, this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, and this is just simply my own personal thoughts. I'm going to give this story a 9 out of 10, mainly because what really killed the story was that the guy's daughter, ends up dying from being in the car for so long and the heat and all. I just didn't really think that was necessary, but it's an older story, so what do I expect? It's an older story, so there's that. Anyways, with that being said, what did you guys personally think of this story? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what you have done personally to help make the story a lot better? Feel free to leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm the Lion Queen. Thank you so much for watching today's episode, and if you're new to my channel, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro, because I'm out.